20 minus 3 minutes to curfew. 7 minutes until the kids' mandatory break. 9 minutes before the Netflix scout steps onto my porch with polite expectations. The key light died. The backup ballast is stalled on the 101st. A neighbor has already emailed Phil LA about our generator. If we lose this hour, we lose the day. If we lose the day, we lose the movie. We're not waiting on a lamp, I say. Ray block to the bay window. Practical sconces 40%. Knit the glass. Negative on camera left. Coverage is dessert, we're eating protein. The cinematographer local 600 calm hands doesn't flinch. Panavision 50th. No haze. Build the scene, out of shape and shadow. The gaffer turns off everything that lies. The grips float foam and flags like a chess opening. The line producer walks to the neighbor with a printed permit. A decibel plan and a promise to wrap by 9:30 without slipping. Respect travels faster than apologies. The studio teacher taps the clock. SAG minus AFT or A rules aren't suggestions. 6 minutes before tutoring. 10 after. He's back for one setup, she says. I nod and confirm with the on-minus set rep that our math is legal if I steal a silent insert during tutoring. Green light. We move. The boy, 11, smart eyes, good lungs, stares at his first mark in Titans. He knows there's a Netflix scout 2 blocks away and a streamer across town that would love our dailies before lunch. Pressure is just potential with a timer. I kneel so my voice meets him, not the room. You're not saving the scene. You're finding a spoon. He frowns, then sees it the simple prop on the table, the ordinary life he can win without pretending to be a hero. His shoulders drop. Good. Natural beats nostalgic. We're rebuilding a mechanism, not borrowing magic. Rolling the AD calls. We're on the 2- shot to anchor behavior, a clean single for the button, a reverse that lets mom's eyes do what dialogue can't. The take lands like a solved equation. Script supervisor boxes the line. We bank the angle. The room remembers how to breathe. My phone buzzes with a Phil Mel A liaison. We saw the neighbor's email. Thanks for looping sound down. Please keep the truck park inside the footprint. I reply with a photo of cones and an updated map. I don't fight bureaucrats. I feed them proof. A publicist from a distributor I won't name waves for an on-minus said EPK moment. I point at the schedule. After we have 3 angles and a performance, not before. The Netflix scout texts 9 minutes. My text back good. You'll see a spine. Lunch is 30 by the book, the AD warns. The sound mixer reminds me, we're under a flight path. The Teamsters Local 399 captain reminds me. Call minus back for night exterior means we're on a real clock. The teacher highlights the boys' turnaround like it's scripture. Everyone is their job, my job is to say yes to the right constraints. Next beat doorway decision. I say, it's our teaser. We shoot it now with daylight. The DP tilts the monitor. You sure? Most directors save it for safety. There is no safety, I say. There's only finishing. We block the half-minus turn that decides who this kid is. He leaves frame, remembers without a line, and returns to choose action over waiting. It's a 3- second hinge. The poster will never show, and the audience will never forget if we nail it. CIA calls about a supporting role that could put our poster on walls we can't afford. I tell the agent our number out loud and our NARN- negotiable S on email. We don't trade promises for paperwork we can't pay. 10 beats later, her junior replies faster than hierarchy predicts. Thursday read. Possible chemistry. That's a door, we'll walk through it when the slate is full. Netflix is here. The PA whispers. The scout steps onto the porch with the face executives practice, open, brief, decisive. What's the lane, she asks. Family suspense with craft and consequence, I say. Physics is in the ensemble. We won't name brands. We'll show cause and effect. She smiles because it's specific, not because it's cute. We're agnostic on labels, she says. We care if it finishes. I show her the plan, what's in the can, what's waiting for night, how we protect the kids' energy and the crew's dinner. She sees a producer where a rumor sold her a reformed tourist. Good. That rumor won't survive our dailies. Nil. The penitential ballast finally arrives. We do not redecorate the scene for the toy we wanted earlier. We add a sliver of eye light and keep the negative honest. Restraint looks excellent on a monitor and better on a budget. A-Trade newsletter posts a paragraph that pretends to discover us while implying derivative risk. I forward it to legal. She replies with the only nouns I care about: original elements, registered treatment, distinctive story beats, documented differences. Celebrate influence, she writes. Don't cosplay precedent. That line is already in my Bible. We steal an insert while the boy is in tutoring, just hands, just decision, cleared by the rep, log for payroll, time minus stamp for our compliance report. Phil Mel emails again with a courtesy note about lane closures. The location manager replies with a photo of our runners and a promise that turns into behavior. Behavior is what cities respect. Mid-minus afternoon, a neighbor appears with a decibel meter like a deputy. I walk over with my permit, my schedule, and a sentence that always works. What does success look like to you today? It's never silence. It's respect. We kill one generator that doesn't need to live, reroute a cable so his driveway breathes, lower the profile by 30% and commit to 21/30th. He puts the meter away. We earn an evening. Fire beat, then homework. The 80 says, it's half a page, I answer. It's the spine. I cut one adjective from the boy's line and replace it with a verb he can hold. Take 2. He hits it. The teacher smiles without moving. His mother unclenches her tote. We move. Warner Bros. Friend texts me a warning dressed as a compliment. Small studio is pitching you as Unarigena in meetings. I don't answer. I don't swat flies on camera. I finish scenes. At 4 o'clock p.m. We staged the first trap, a thought experiment with hardware built yesterday alongside a safety coordinator who treats liability like choreography. Rule on set is clear: if we cannot do it safely at full speed twice, it cannot be in the movie. 2 clean takes. We move the rig aside and log the safety report because the paper trail is part of the picture. Word comes from a streamer whose library shaped my 20s. Can we see an early assembly of scene 5? We have 3 signed for a live, 5 designed for night. I don't send almost. I send plan, schedule, and a sentence I paid for with mistakes in another life. We won't chase your calendar at the expense of a miner's energy or a cruised inner. At 5:10 p.m., the boy goes to tutoring. I grab the DP and first aid E to design night. Exterior Los Angeles can fake snow, but not cold. Will photograph stillness, not our breath. The DP mentions that LUT he built on leave no trace. We'll cite you if we borrow the curves. I say, credit isn't politeness, it's infrastructure. The Netflix scout texts again: if you find the moment, send me a still. We'll find it, I reply. We'll name it after we wrap. The street quiets at 1840th. The neighbor leans on his fence with the meter in his pocket. We set one practical upstairs so the house feels awake. We choreograph footsteps. The audience won't register because they'll be busy feeling the decision. Then we shoot. Take 1, the boy leaves frame 2 proud. Take 2, too scared. Take 3, right. He exits as a passenger, returns as a spine, and the house becomes his. The 80 calls it printable. The script supervisor puts a box around silence like it's dialogue. The scout exhales. I don't. Not yet. Time to curfew? I ask. 90 minutes, the 80 says. 42 wrap. 10 to move the truck park. 5 to replace the hinge you hate. We have time to get greedy, the DP says. Greedy is how you pay tomorrow for winning today, I say. We lock picture on the beat that sells the film and go home. The scout texts, there it is. I text the still. The kid half minus turned at the threshold. House behind him, decision in front. Nice spy, she replies. Send me your no. No, to what? Whatever they pitch you tomorrow that steals your time. On cue, my phone lights again. A journalist I respect asks for comment on derivative risk. I answer with the only sentence I can live with: we're building an original film in a classic lane. Our debts are to craft, not brains. We'll show cause and effect. The audience will keep what's new. She writes back, that's specific. I write, the film will be more so. We're up at 21:32. The neighbor thanks us by name. The Teamsters captain checks his watch and nods. The gaffer says we told the truth with as few lumens as the truth needed. The production accountant says the day cost what the budget said it should. The sound mixer says planes forgave us and we forgave planes. It isn't poetry, it's a report card. Back at base, the dailies look like a movie that gets to exist. Tessa, my calendar, my breaks, my emergency exit, hands me a 1- page list that decides whether I sleep. Kids turn around protected. Permit happy. Courtesy note sent. Phil LA asked us not to make them the villain in interviews. I promise we don't give interviews. Legal has quite a letter for any outlet that tries to sell your film as a lawsuit. Eat something that isn't adrenaline. We split a sandwich from craft services that tastes like discipline. I rewrite one line because I'm no longer lying to myself about being tired. I add 2 digits to any email because chewing stops me from multitasking. Then I walk the Echo Park Craftsman that will be our film for another 19 days and not a minute more. It already knows our names. On the drive to the office, the city inventories itself. UGA notes taped to windows. SAG-AFT or 8 pins on NMIATSE stickers on hard cases. Teamsters rigs angled along curbs like patient dinosaurs. Hollywood breathes in acronyms and out contracts. Ideas earn their life by passing through paperwork. At the desk, I open the binder that keeps us adults. Insurance certificates. Vendor agreements. Dolby Mix window. A Panavision email that reads, your lenses are on hold when you call. A Sundance lunch invite. I'll attend only if I can attend as the person who froze a frame, not the person who wants to be photographed at a table. Then the email that always arrives when a day goes right. PUBLICINTEREST in the subject line and inside 2 words in confident typography, and make a ITSMALLER with an image shot from across the street my lit window. I forward it to legal and LAPD's film liaison with a note that is all compliance and no drama. The white minus scholar cop. We no replies. We see plates. Say nothing. Move nothing. Keep procedures. We do. We keep our procedures. Before I leave, I write the sentence at the top of tomorrow's call sheet where only 3 people will see it. Tessa, legal, me finish days. Don't borrow magic. Build mechanisms. Under it, one more line, scene 5, take 3, teaser spine. Guard it with math. I lock the door. The city owes me nothing but the chance to finish. Tomorrow, Netflix may want it almost. Warner Bros. may want a meeting. CI may want a name. Teamsters will want their turnarounds. SAG-AFTRA will want the kid home on time. Film LA will want the trucks inside the footprint. Good. That's the price of a film that can't survive its own railer. When someone, somewhere, says the frame feels familiar, I will agree. Family is not a trend. Courage isn't a fad. Physics is not a villain. The only new thing is the way our kid chooses a threshold and tilts the story toward consequence. We made the day, or the day made us. Either way, we're still here. The morning after a clean day is when Los Angeles tests whether you mean it. My inbox is a courtroom film LA confirmations. SAG-SAFTRA reminders. A polite nudge from Teamsters Local 399 about tonight's return minus to minus. An EPK request from a distributor that already thinks it discovered us. And a short note from our attorney with the subject chain of title today. I owe money, but not the kind that sits on a spreadsheet. I owe proof. First stop is an office near Raleigh Studios that smells like coffee and old call sheets. Mason waits behind a desk made of gaffer tape and favors. He was the first person to tell me I wasn't ready. He might be the last to say I've changed. I don't rehearse an apology. I bring receipts. You vanished the last time a day went long, he says. You back to vanish or back to finish? Back to finish, I say, and slide a binder across the week's 1- line schedule. The kids' turnaround windows highlighted in yellow. The nightly truck park moves. The cost report that doesn't pretend we're richer than our paper will. He flips, not for detail, for discipline. You owe me 2 things, he says. A call when you change plan, and a plan worth changing. I'll pay both, I say. He points at a line item. Bowles Trental got cute yesterday. Call Panavision and ask 4 terms like you belong. If they say no, you still pay a list, but you will have asked with posture. I leave with a crew list he swears by, a number at a lab that can save a midnight transfer, and permission to use his name once when a door demands a chaperone. The apology happened in the grammar, not the nouns. Back at the office, we're register the screenplay with the Writers Guild of America West because I like paper trails that wear dates. The WGA certificate arrives in minutes like a seatbelt you can feel. Our attorney files you. Yes. Copyright claims for screenplay and treatment with deposits steady enough to survive a cranky judge. We update the chain of title memo so that when someone mutters derivative risk in a meeting, our lawyer can hand over a packet labeled "Here are the facts" and go back to her day. Insurance calls. Ario, underwriter wants clarity on how we'll avoid infringing anything that makes an intern's eyes light up on TIKTOK. No branded traps, no brand minus name packages, no protected catchphrases, I say. We send our clearance procedures dialogue lists, prop approvals, a room where the art team can veto a cereal box faster than Twitter can name it. The binder smells like compliance. I sleep better when my pillow does too. SAG minus. SAFTRA's minor minus performer unit emails with a checklist. Coogan account, set, studio teacher credentials, verify. Meal penalties for minors, budgeted. We open a shared doc with the boy's mother, not as a favor, as a promise. She can see the clock, I see. Our rule is simple, I tell her on the phone. No shot is worth a violation. If I blow a take, that's my problem. If I blow his hours, that's your problem, and that makes it mine. She laughs like a parent who's been patronized before and says she'll bring cookies for crew if I keep speaking this language. At noon, we cut a teaser that doesn't lie. No temp music. No hero fonts. 20-9 seconds of the doorway decision from last night. 2 words of dialogue and the sound of a choice. The editor who can make people cry with a cut to nothing exports ProRes and drops a frame. I link with permissions that make lawyers feel seen. I text the Netflix scout, it's not a trailer, it's a spine. She replies with an emoji I refuse to type in a sentence. I like spines travel. The trade press runs a 2- paragraph item that implies we are spiritually adjacent to a forever franchise and might be testing the boundaries. Tess drafts 3 answers, silence, demonstration, phone call, and deletes the call. We publish nothing. We keep shooting. Demonstration eats rumor for lunch only if you feed it footage. A calendar block from our attorney lands with a tone you don't mistake. Derivatives 101, talk to me like I'm the court. We're on through our differences until the words feel boring. Boring is a verdict I can live with. Mason ext Panavision. Now, ask like a grown minus up. I ask for net minus 30 and a little grace on a lens that makes our house look like it knows secrets. They grant the payment terms and politely decline the extra glass. That's fine. Restraint tastes better on screen than on the phone. CIA's junior emails. Thursday reading confirmed. Actor is a maybe if we can protect schedule integrity. We can if the actor can live without the vanity angles and a pickup we won't need. WME asks 4 pages clean of nostalgia. We send the version with adjectives removed, verbs sharpened. UTA offers a wild card a theater kid who exits Matilda tour next week and auditions well opposite Chaos. We book him for a red opposite our lead. I don't need a name, I need a human being who can pivot at half speed and still be true. Film LA approves our revised permit for a night exterior with conditions no sidewalk walk-up after 9 o'clock p. Keep generators on pads, neighbor hotline posted on the gate. The location manager prints placards. We assign one PA to be the neighbor's concierge. We budget gratitude into the day. Legal wants confirmation on your teaser distribution, Tessa says, glancing up from a spreadsheet that looks like a test I forgot to study for. No embargo violations, no misrepresentations, no promises. Also, she says stop calling the frame. I owe Link a bone. It's a bone, I say. It's evidence, Tessa says, and wins on points. At 3, I drive to a bank branch with the boy's mother to confirm the Coogan account paperwork really is what the app says it is. Bureaucracy respects in minus person respect. The manager recognizes the words Coogan trusts like a hymn and opens a door. We sign. We certify. The mother thanks me for treating money like oxygen, the kind you don't bargain over when a child is involved. Back at set, the gaffer catches me before I can disappear into email. Tonight's win is going to play with your practicals, he says. Wait, call it truth. The cinematographer wants to test one frame at 48 FPS to see if the house breathes differently. One take, I say. If it feels like a trick, we'll bury it. If it feels like the story, we'll forget we shot it at all. A development exec at a streamer I respect invites me to coffee with a sentence I've learned to price we love family with teeth. We'll meet after the weekend if I still have a movie. A Warner Bros. Acquaintance asks if I'll take notes at lunch with a person whose name opens doors. I answer with a truth that tends to end conversations without turning enemies. I take notes when we have a cut. Before that, I take days. On set call, the Teamsters captain waves me over to remind me what adults sound like. Heavy rigs need real curbs, he says. Your neighbor is a person, not a permit. Keep them happy and my life stays boring. Boring keeps overtime honest. I nod and add a line to my N- of minus day speech, which I will give whether anyone wants to hear it thanks by job, not applause by decibel. We shoot the kitchen beat the internet will accuse me of writing for a GIF. We shoot it like I wrote it for a parent who doesn't have time for gifts. The boy nails the throwaway glance that proves he's paying attention, which means the audience will pay attention. The teacher notes we have 19 minutes until tutoring. The 80 tells me 19 is a number that makes grown minus ups honest. We break on time. No scene is worth lying on a time card. During study block, I meet the safety coordinator to preview the next trap. He has diagrams, redundancies, and a voice that translates fun into lawful. If it's repeatable, it's safe, he says. If it's a 1- off miracle, it's not in your film. Good, I say. We don't borrow magic. We rebuild mechanisms. He nods. Then, I'm your guy. The Netflix scout text Easer travels internally. Be ready for curiosity. Curiosity is a polite word for meetings. Meetings eat days. I pin the text next to a sentence on my wall, only meet where finishing benefits. The neighbor with the decibel meter brings us lemonade like he forgave the industry in advance. He says his grandson watched Paddington 3 times last week and asks if ours will be kind. It will be honest, I say. He accepts that answer like a man who has lived long enough to know that honest is kind. Mid-minus evening, a CI agent calls as if she's been rehearsing it. We like your posture, she says. We don't love your number, but we love your rule set. We move fast in that alley between desire and math. I give an availability window. She gives me a conditional yes. We and the call, not as allies, but as professionals who can share a sentence later and not need to look away. An email from Dolby confirms our mixed window can flex 2 days if editorial needs air. I reply with gratitude and a promise to do what editors pretend they can't lock before I fall in love with my own assembly. Then the punch you only see if you learned how not to blink. A boutique site runs exclusive new family caper courts legal questions. The source is unnamed. The verbs are slippery. The adjectives are certain. I forward it to legal, who replies with a signature line that makes me smile. Thank you for the opportunity to be specific. She drafts a letter that lists the law before it lists our opinions. Tessa drafts a statement we won't need. We built an original in a classic lane. We celebrate influence. We obey the law. We finish films. Mason texts only an address or rental house that everyone uses and no one admits. The one with a driveway that forgives trucks, then a back room that forgives arguments. 2 gaffers and an operator heard the boutique piece and think you're getting sued, he writes. Bring the teaser. Bring your wrists. Professionals get bored with rumor fast if you feed them work. We break at 21:28. The neighbor waves the decibel meter in his pocket for the 2nd night in a row. The kid signs out. The Teamsters pull away like a jazz drummer exiting a solo clean, polite, inevitable. I think by job again and don't bother raising my voice. Respect doesn't need microphones. Back at the office, you see the teaser on 3 screens because distribution is how you tell truth to pixels. No color hacks. No fake light leaks to charm Soviet nostalgia out of the internet. Frame 1 is an ordinary house. Frame 20-9 is a child deciding to be his own adult. I send the link to the Netflix scout and 2 executives who asked without pretending they didn't. I send it to no one else. Scarcity is respect. The phone rings with a 1 number and a voice that never overpraises. I saw it, she says. She doesn't identify herself. She doesn't need to. It finishes a sentence most people are too tired to write. Thank you, I say. You're going to get calls, she says. Answer the ones that ask how you'll finish. Ignore the ones that ask who blessed you. Noted, I say. Also, Panavision says you ask correctly, she adds. Keep doing that. I hang up and laugh once, the way a man laughs when he senses the room turning in a direction he can survive. Tessa appears in the doorway with the face she uses for numbers that learned at Manners. Cost report holds. Payroll clean. Phil Mill A happy. SAG minus AFTR A happier. Teamsters board. Legal loaded. One more thing, a friend at Apple TV pinged for the teaser link with a line you'll enjoy. Family where the adults act like adults. We'll send it, I say, after I sleep. You'll sleep when picture locks, she says, and moves my 7 o'clock. Alarm 5 minutes later without asking. That's a promotion I accept. I text Mason the teaser with no commentary. He sends back a single period, then you can use my name twice. I edit to the ritual ask correctly, use sparingly, report generously. Adults lend adults their nouns. Before I leave, the attorney mails the registered copyright case, numbers like a benediction. Your picture is protected. She adds, send me the boutique link if they keep trying to be clever. We can be specific again. I pin her note under my private motto receipts, not rumors. The city outside is late minus, night on his Paramount skates pretending to sleep. A Teamster's rig idling like patience. A cop rolling past with a smile that says he's seen worse on quieter streets. We're not a scandal, we're a schedule. We're not borrowing magic or rebuilding mechanisms you can audit. Tomorrow the kids' mark will be fresher than mine and the weather will try to make our light lie again. Netflix may call. Apple TV may call. See ya, I will definitely call. Philmel A will want proof we stayed inside the footprint. SAG minus AFT or A will want his time card neat. Teamsters will want their turnarounds. Dolby will want our mix list. Good. That's how grown minus up stories get to exist. On the way home, I pass a billboard for a movie that screams its brand at 10 stories tall. I don't want that. I want a sentence that fits in a mouth. A kid stands in a doorway and chooses the hard thing first. If we get that right, the rest will feel inevitable and none of it will be accidental. At my desk, I add one line to tomorrow's call sheet where only 3 people will read it. No meetings that don't help finish it. No quotes that don't survive subpoenas. Finish days. And under it, for me, we don't need blessings. We need receipts. The teaser moves faster than gossip. Overnight, it jumps desks that don't usually agree with each other. By 8:30. Tessa's inbox looks like a festival lobby. Netflix wants an assembly date. Apple TV asks for a window conversation if ownership remains with you. Amazon MGM Studios request Sakofi. A junior at 8:24 writes 3 perfect sentences that end with, don't rush to define tone in meetings. That line earns a reply. We don't take all the calls. We try anything that helps us finish moves forward, anything that needs us to invent the future waits. The rule lands on the wall for everyone to see. No meeting that costs a setup. Casting is the first setup. CA at 10's Earth, UTA at 12:30th, WME at 15's Earth. We need a supporting adult who can carry gravity without stealing oxygen from an 11-year-old. The character is a neighbor who believes rules protect people. The performance can't be smug. CIA opens with a familiar dance quote. Schedule, billing, approvals. You're under 2 million? The agent asks. We nod. Then the quote is a memory. Here's what matters: scheduling certainty, favored nations on billing, meaningful consultation on stills. All fair. Our counter is fairer. We'll protect the schedule with liquidated damages on us, not you. Favored nations on single minus card placement for supporting cast. Photo approvals limited to unit stills we actually use, not publicity stills we'll never shoot. The agent smiles because it's a grown minus up conversation. We lock a reading window for Thursday and a conditional yes if the chemistry works. UTA brings the wild card, a Broadway kid ending a Matilda tour, wrong age for our lead, perfect for the older sibling, into scenes that could be forgettable if we let them. We won't. The kid reads opposite our lead and builds a bridge without trying. The studio teacher observes with the look teachers get when a rehearsal becomes an education. He knows how to listen, she says. That's the only note I need. WME pitches star wattage we can't afford as money and can't afford as time. You're buying us, press. The agent says, we're buying overtime, I answer. The scene wants truth, not headlines. We part friends because we negotiated with nouns. While we cast, legal builds a moat. Ayo sends its questionnaire. We answer like adults. No brand minus name traps, no protected catchphrases, no trade dress replicas, no look minus alike costumes, no needle drops we can't clear. The prop master sends photos of every label in frame to clearance. The art department prints generic cereal boxes that don't wink at litigation. It's less romantic than war suggests and exactly as important. At lunch, the Netflix scout asks, "Do you want to own or do you want to finish?" False choice. "We want to own and finish," I say. "We'll talk windowing after we have a cut that makes the question expensive." She doesn't flinch. "We can live with that," she says, which is executive for "We'll be back when you're undeniable." Afternoon call is the one I didn't expect to get this early. Apple TV wants a first conversation about whether we believe in a theatrical qualifier. We do if it helps the film be what it is. We talk windows like Adults Festival Limited Theatrical PVODS VOD. No promises, just a map. We agree not to laminate yet. Bring us receipts, not adjectives, their exec says. We'll bring ours. That is a language I speak. We shoot as if none of this matters, because it won't if we blow the day. The exterior staircase B is a scheduling minefield. First position, second position, the boys' tutoring block, a neighbor whose decibel meter has matured into a sense of humor, a wind advisory that threatens to turn our practicals into confetti. The gaffer rides the gusts, the grips adjust sightlines, the DP finds the moment the house feels sentient without asking for tricks. We protect the kids' energy as if it were a cash-on deposit because it is. And for 20p, a boutique site pushes exclusive, snowbound faces legal gray area. The verbs are soft, the adjectives are loud, the headline knows what it's doing. I forward it to legal. She replies with compunctuation, "Thank you for the opportunity to be specific. Our clearance report, our WGA registration number, our copyright filings, our comparative analysis of classic lane versus protected element." Tessa drafts a statement, "We won't send, we built an original in a classic lane. We obey the law. We finish films." She deletes it a minute later because the best statement is pages on a timeline. We break on time because SAG-AFT or A doesn't bargain with inspiration. The studio teacher signs the boy out with a smile that says we can have tomorrow if we respect today. I make a note to keep respecting today. Night brings the kind of meeting you don't put on a calendar. Mason's back. Minus room summit at the rental house with a driveway everyone loves and no one attributes. 2 gaffers, an operator, a mixer. Professionals who have heard enough rumor to prefer footage. I cue the teaser on a 65-inch and leave the room. When I come back, the operator says he chooses without acting like he knows he's choosing. The gaffer says, "You told the truth with as few lumens as the truth needed." The mixer says, "I heard restraint." Mason nods. "You can use my name twice. That's currency I won't spend casually." Morning, the calls multiply. A Sundance programmer's assistant asks for a private link plus a 2- sentence logline. We have both, and we send neither until the cut exists. The publicist with a resume that could buy its own zip code offers narrative shaping. We shape scenes, I say. Narratives will fend for themselves. She laughs, then asks for coffee when we aren't finishing days. By midweek, Wheel and our supporting neighbor. See a calls with a yes that respects money and schedule. The paperwork moves fast because our attorney hates drift. Billing is clean. Approvals are clear. Scheduling certainty is ensured. The actor's first day is a week from Friday at 11 o'clock. Because the only thing more expensive than time is pretending it's free. We assemble our first for scenes into something that behaves like a spine. No temp score, no cheats. Our editor trims me in ways that make me better in the long run and uncomfortable now. "You don't need this insert," she says, and she's right. The cut breathes. The choice lands. The house feels like a character who doesn't speak English but understands law. We talk festivals without promising ourselves a ribbon. Sundance if the calendar smiles, Berlin if the weather inside the cut suggests it, SXSW if our sense of humor finds its legs in time. We prepare deliverables like adults picture locked by day texts. ID are requested. Audio spec at Dolby Atmos down mixed to 5.1 and 2.0 captions locked. Accessibility passes scheduled. This isn't romance. It's logistics. On set, we stage the first significant stunt of moral consequence, a trap that looks like a prank and behaves like ethics. The safety coordinator walks us through redundancies. The kid repeats the rule back to me: if we can't do it safely at full speed twice, it's not in the movie. He smiles the way people do when they like the boundaries that protect them. 2 clean runs. We move on. The boutique site publishes again, this time with a pundit who calls us spiritually adjacent to a trademark. Mara at Harbor Heart, brought in for strategy, not for spin, sends a 2- line plan that doesn't touch the article. Put out your own, making minus of note that explains mechanism over mythology. 1 page, no names. We draft and publish a Medium post titled Why We Rebuilt the Machine. It's boring on purpose cause minus and minus effect clearances, how our safety math works, why an insert is a promise. The post trends in an unexciting corner of the internet that contains studio lawyers and film teachers. That's the corner I want. Apple TV circles back if you keep ownership and come to us after Festival X with Y metrics completion, audience score, vanilla comps. We'll talk first window. Netflix asks when they can see 20 minutes. Amazon says they'll be in town next week and can we meet at 8 o'clock? So the day isn't lost. We can. Any meeting before 9 o'clock is a meeting that doesn't steal a setup. The neighbor with the decibel meter becomes an ally. In the only way that matters, he texts before he complains. We route a cable around his curb before he asks. He brings coffee when we finish on time. Reciprocity is policy now, not charm. We hit our first real budget wobble when a piece of specialty rigging fails a safety test and the rental house's substitute costs 30% more. The line producer shows me 2 options: overpay or rewrite. I choose option 3, all another house, ask like a grown minus up, and agree to a same minus night return that makes their morning easier. We get the gear at our number and send a handwritten thank minus to a manager who remembers who called it midnight and who didn't. Legal delivers a memo that reads like a safety blanket chain of title clean, clearance defensible, risk profile with an EO policy. She includes 3 sentences to use if a microphone ever corners me. We built an original film in a classic lane. We celebrate influence without copying protected elements. We finish films. I won't need them if I keep finishing. See A's Junior emails at 10:10p. With a line I didn't know I durned. We like your posture. We can lean in without making you late. That's Entrance joins the wall next to no meeting. The costs of setup and receipts, not rumors. We're happen other day with the quiet dignity of payroll. The production accountant says the day cost what the budget said it should. Phil Mill A says the hotline stayed silent. SAG-A FTRA says the time card is neat. Teamsters say the turnarounds are safe. Dolby confirms the mix window. Panavision keeps our lens hold alive because we ask like adults. All of this is as thrilling to me as the perfect take we got at 640p. And because one without the other is a story with no ending. On the way out, I had a line to the next call sheet, where only 3 people will read its schedule is the script. Protect it like the picture. And for me, a smaller line I earned today: own and finish, not or and, by 7:15. I learned two truths at once: the snow vendor's truck is early, and the South Coast AQMD has flagged our phone compound. No foam, no blizzard, no blizzard, no third act. The location manager looks like a man who slept next to a siren. Send me the SDS, I say. He forwards the safety data sheet our compound uses surfactants the city hates on hills. We pivot in 9 minutes: biodegradable cellulose snow chillers for ground frostery, claim minus water, mist for atmosphere. The vendor quotes us surcharge. The line producer quotes our policy: we pay for safe, we don't pay for panic. Surcharge vanishes. AQMDA wants run-off mats in a vacuum truck on standby. We book both and notify Phil Mel A before they ask. LAPD's off. Minus duty officers arrive with a reminder: I didn't plan for 8 o'clock p. There's a neighborhood event our lane control must end by 1945. We invert the day. Third minus act exterior first, dialogue interiors after tutoring. The 8 Erie builds the strip board like a pit crew. The crew reads it once and behaves like they saw it yesterday. Schedule is the script. SAG-8 FTRA studio teacher highlights the kid's blocks in neon. You're stealing inserts while he studies, she asks. Only silent hands cleared with the rep, I say. She checks with the rep, who checks with legal, who replies with a line: I can live by clear. Long time minus stand. We move. The snow team rolls out cellulose. The safety coordinator sprinkles crushed walnut on the walkway for traction, logs a slip test, and signs the page that makes insurance sleep. Our neighbor, the one with the decibel meter, asks if the folks know will kill his succulents. The vendor says no. I say, we'll fix it if we're wrong, and give him a direct number that rings. He pockets the meter and watches like a kid. At 9:05, Netflix asks for a 20- minute assembly. When it behaves like 20 minutes, I reply. We'll send fine, not scraps. Apple TV pings if you keep ownership and qualify theatrically. Let's pre-minus talk Windows. We can talk if we keep finishing. A24S Jr. writes the sentence: I wish I'd written don't define tone in meetings. Define it in cuts. That earns a yes to coffee at 8 o'clock. So it doesn't cost a setup. CI, A confirms our supporting neighbor is in. Billing, approvals, schedule, clean. The contract includes liquidated damages we pay if we blow his day. That's how it should be when you're the one borrowing other people's mornings. We're old Blizzard Master. No foam, no glycine rear, no cheats that make a city inspector famous. The house breathes under chillers and haze. The kid crosses the porch, hesitates at the threshold, and commits. The moment lands, honest the editor will not need to fix what we already told the truth about. We bank the angle. AQMD's inspector swings by, sees runoff mats and a vacuum truck drinking melt, signs our sheet, and declines a coffee. That signature is caffeine enough. Legal calls while we reset. Our REO underwriter has 3 questions on derivative risk. We answer with nouns, WGA registration, numbers, copyright case numbers, clearance logs, design packets showing original props and traps, a comparative grid that separates classic lane from protected element. Our attorney drafts a letter to the boutique site that cannot stop writing around us. Thank you for the opportunity to be specific. No adjectives, only dates. At noon, the Broadway kid reads opposite our lead. He listens better than adults pretend to. The scene between brothers stops being connective tissue and turns into a spine we didn't budget for. WGI rules say I can make minor on minus, set dialogue adjustments I make too, log them, and send the page to legal so authorship behaves like a grown minus up. Lunch is 30 by the book. While the kid studies, we shoot hands, hinges, and the insert that makes the trap read as ethics, not prank. The safety coordinator repeats his mantra: if we can't do it safely at full speed twice, it's not in the movie. Twice clean. We move. Netflix's scout texts will fly. The assembly straight to green light if you don't fumble delivery. I tell her we won't fumble or rush. We're allergic to almost, I say. She replies, spines travel. By 3 o'clock p.m. The first postcard from reality arrives. The rental house's specialty rig fails a safety check. Their substitute is 30% more. The line producer offers to options overpay or rewrite. I choose option 3, call another house. Ask like an adult, give them a same minus night return that makes their morning. We get our number and send a handwritten thank minus you that will pay dividends when someone else calls at midnight and doesn't get them. The neighbor texts a photo snow drifted into his yard. Will this kill anything? He asks. We send our SDS and a cleaner with a soft broom. He texts back a thumbs minus up that reads like a permit extension. Reciprocity is policy, not charm. A Warner Bros. Acquaintance forwards a calendar hold with a name that can sell posters we can't afford. Lunch notes, he asks. Notes after picture, I answer. Before that, I take days. It ends the conversation without making an enemy. Adults understand finish beats theory. At 5:40 p.m., AQM wants a run-off photo log. Tessa already has it. Time minus stamped, geo minus ag filed. She's the reason I sleep. Legal forwards a template response to the boutique site's latest exclusive verbs like alleged and suggested annotated with case law. We don't publish it unless forced. We prefer pages on a timeline. Evening threatens wind. The gaffer recommends we let it into the frame. True, reads cheaper than tricks, he says. He's right. We're all an exterior at 6:20 p.m. That looks like a memory you didn't know you had. The kid chooses to be brave and weather that doesn't care. It's 3 seconds that will sell our movie to a parent who is tired of being lied to. LAPD taps a watch face 7:30 p.m. 15 minutes to strike lanes. We could get greedy. We don't. We pull mats, vacuum runoff, return the street like we found it. The neighbor waves without the meter. AQMD signs out. Film LA logs a day that makes them look helpful, not villainous. That's because they were back at base. The editor assembles 12 minutes that behave like 20. No tense core, no hero fonts. The cut breathes like a house with opinions. The kid's doorway decision still holds the brother's scene, now earns it. I watch one say nothing and schedule the pickup we don't want to need but will shoot anyway because insurance favors people who insult perfection. Apple TV calls with math. If you keep ownership, hit Festival X. Show why metrics completion read. Sentiment comps will talk first window short theatrical qualifier. We'll bring receipts, I say. Bring yours. We schedule a real meeting at 8 o'clock. CAs. Junior males at 9:40 p.m. Your posture buys cooperation. We'll hold the neighbor for a Friday start at 11 o'clock. And call. Flexible wrap if you protect turnaround. I reply with a contract clause where we pay if we don't. Agents read faster when you attach penance to promises. The boutique site runs again. New family caper snowbound, still in legal gray. Mara at Harbor Hearts ends a 2- line plan that doesn't touch them. Publish your own 1- page mechanism, not mythology. No names, no brands, all process. We push a medium post titled How We Built a Blizzard Without Breaking the City SDS. Runoff permits AQMD checklists, photos of vacuum mats, safety redundancies. It trends where studio lawyers and teachers live. That's my audience between now and picture lock. We're app with the quiet dignity of compliance. The production accountant says the day cost what the budget said it should. Philmail aces the hotline stay boring. SAG-AF says the kid's time card is neat. Teamsters say the turnarounds are safe. AQMD says our runoff behaved like water with manners. Dolby confirms our mixed window flexibility. Panavision holds glass because we ask like adults. On the wall, I add 3 lines to tomorrow's call sheet where only 3 people will read them. Finish days. Spines, not scripts. Own and finish, not or, and if it can't survive paperwork, it can't be in the film. Before I kill the lights, a 1 number calls with the voice of someone who doesn't overpraise. I saw your 12, she says. You have 20. Don't add noise to prove it. Puppy, I say. Also, she adds, whoever told you to publish the Blizzard page knows where grown minus-ups live. They do, I say. So do we. I lock the door. Los Angeles owes me nothing but the chance to finish. Tomorrow we'll shoot interiors that look like quiet and sell like courage. Netflix will want 20. Apple will want Windows. A24 will want 10. AQMD will want mats. LAPD will want lanes. Film LA will want courtesy. SAG Mina say F Tier A will want a child whole on time. Teamsters will want boredom. Dolby will want a list. Good. That's the price of telling the truth on a schedule. By 542. A courier drops a letter with a specific colon. CEXXINDDESIST. The boutique site that keeps writing around us found a lawyer who bills adjectives. Alleged substantial similarity. Alleged brand confusion. Alleged public admissions because I once said Classic Lane out loud. The letter demands we stop shooting by noon. We don't stop. We root. Tessa forwards it to legal, CCs our REO broker, and pins 3 rules to the top of my screen. 1. We answer with dates, not feelings. 2. We keep finishing. 3. No improvising odd email. I put the envelope under a paperweight shaped like a slate and drive to an 8 o'clock. I can't miss. Apple TV is on time and allergic to small talk. Ownership stays with you, their exec asks. Yes. Theatrical qualifier? If it helps the film be itself, yes. She sketches the map on a legal pad festival 14- Bay limited theatrical LAN Y1 fly over PVOD SVOD first window. No balloons, only math completion rates, sentiment curves, comps that aren't fairy tales. Bring receipts, she says. We'll bring ours. We shake because we are adults and leave because we have days to finish. On set, the snow truck is honest biodegradable cellulose, SDS taped to the drum, runoff mat stacked like ethics. South Coast AQMD inspector signs our sheet, eyes the vacuum truck, and says most productions hear about this after the citation. That's Los Angeles for good job. SAG Mina, say F Tier A studio teacher highlights blocks in neon. He needs tutoring at 12:10. Turnaround says he's out at 8:40p. And non-minus negotiable. Logged, I say, and ask the rep to initial the strip board so our time card tells the same story as our mouths. She does. This is how you buy sleep. Teamsters local 399 taps, my shoulder with a problem that can end a day. The rental house tried to send in on minus union driver for a late ad. We don't cross our own rules, the captain says. Nor do we, I answer and call the dispatcher like a grown minus up. I need a union driver in an hour. We'll turn in 4 back by 9. We'll pay the minimum even if you beat it. He says yes because leverage is polite when you speak its language. The truck arrives with a driver who knows the difference between a curb and a lawsuit. A small victory that keeps the big ones possible. CIA confirms our supporting neighbor for next Friday, single minus card billing, approvals that won't eat daylight. WME floats a name we can't afford as time. I reply with the line that ends arguments without making enemies. I take notes after picture. Before that, I take days. Legal calls from a speakerphone that could testify in court without prep. Here's the response to your new pen pal, our attorney says. WG8 registration numbers, copyright case numbers, chain of title memo, clearance logs, prop design packets, a comparative analysis grid separating classic lane from protected element, and the sentence I love we celebrate influence, we do not copy protected expression. We'll serve them and copy their insurer. You will not post, tweet, or wink. I will finish the day, I say. Correct? She says. That's the most aggressive act. We invert the schedule because LAPD's off minus. Duty officers remind us a neighborhood event takes our lanes at 1945th, third, minus acts no exterior first, interiors after tutoring. The aide rebuilds the strip board in 6 minutes. The crew reads it once and behaves like they saw it yesterday. Schedule is the script. Where all the blizzard master clean chillers breathing ground frost, reclaimed minus water, mist for air, cellulose that looks like childhood. No foam, no glycinrear, no Instagram hacks that make city inspectors famous. The kid crosses the porch, remembers something without acting like he knows he's acting, returns to the threshold and chooses to be the spine. It's 3 seconds. It sells the feature. It respects the clock. Film LA pings about a 311 complaint a neighbor's friend swears our generator is off its pad. The location manager replies with a time minus stamped photo and an apology for the idea of noise, which is how you keep regulators friendly. The hotline goes quiet again because receipts travel faster than rumor. At 12 AP. The teacher taps her watch, the boy goes to tutoring. We steal pre-minus cleared inserts, just hands, just consequence, time minus stamped, logged, initialed by the rep. The safety coordinator repeats the mantra, if it can't be done safely at full speed twice, it's not in the film. Twice, clean. We move. Our editor cuts on a folding table in a room that used to be a dining room. 12 minutes we thought were well-behaved, like 20 without a single frame of temps core. The house feels sentient. The brothers C learns the doorway decision. I try to gift myself an extra insert. She deletes it and hands me the truth. It was for you, not the story. We move on lighter. The boutique site escalates DMC, ANOT, IC yield ends in frame. IO's inbox for a private teaser, alleging an authorized derivative. Tesla forwards our registered deposit certificates, our editorial log, and a counter-minus notice drafted to survive subpoenas. Frame. IO keeps the link, live Ario broker logs the exchange and asks for nothing else, which is insurance for we planned this day months ago. Teamsters driver returns the late at early and refuses praise, just doing the contract, he says. I route an extra half-hour to the call sheet anyway. Boredom is our bonus. The captain smiles the way professionals smile when the paperwork loves them back. I 310p. Apple TV sends a follow -up if you hold ownership and qualify theatrical will pencil a first -window framework contingent on festival placement and completion metrics. It's not a promise, it's oxygen. Netflix, scouts ask for 20 minutes by Friday. When it behaves like 20, I say. We'll deliver spine, not scraps. An HOI attorney emails the location manager RC, our Espriclude commercial nuisance on snow days. Tessa replies with the permit, the SDS AQMD sign -offs, our neighbor hotline, and the sentence that disarms most lawyers: we remediate at our expense if we're wrong. He thanks us for being specific and withdraws the threat. Law is a language, respect is its accent. We hit a budget wobble at 450p. A specialty rig fails a safety check and the only substitute carries a 30% surcharge. Option 1, overpay. Option 2, rewrite. Option 3, all the other house offer a same -night return that makes their morning. We do option 3 and write a thank note by hand. They say yes. Money saved, 1 extra half -day for second unit later. That's how you keep finish in the budget. The Broadway kid reads again opposite our lead and steals not a second of oxygen. He listens so well the scene edits itself. WGI rules allow minor on minus, set tweaks, I make 2, mark blue pages, send the PDF to legal so authorship remains honest. The teacher signs the day's tutoring log. SAG mina, say FT or A's rep initials the time card. Adults being adults. That's my favorite genre. At 610p. He snaps its runoff photos, we've AccuMaps like compulsive saints, and the inspector signs with the face bureaucrats say for rare occasions not annoyed. Thank you for knowing the rules before I arrive, she says. Thank you for having rules, I answer. 1930th. LAPD taps, a watch face lanes, go back to the public at 1945th, we could get greedy. We don't. Truck park returns inside the footprint. The neighbor pockets his decibel meter without using it. Phil Mill A's hotline stays boring. Boring is victory. Back at base, the editor shows me a 20- to that breathes like 20. No swelling strings. No pity for nostalgia. I ask for a dishonest cover shot, she removes it before I finish the sentence. You have the scene, she says. Don't sell the scene, you didn't turn. I say thank you and mean it. The cut is better than my appetite. Legally mails the filed response to the CD with footnotes that taste like granite. Thank you for the opportunity to be specific appears twice, each time followed by receipts. Our broker replies that our coverage remains unimpressed by rumor. Frame. IO confirms the DMC counter-notice stands. Our line producer posts the day's cost report with a sentence that should be framed budget behaved. People got fed. Law got obeyed. Picture moved at 910p. The Netflix scout texts, if your 20 behaves like your 12, we're past curiosity. Then we'll behave, I reply. Don't add noise to prove it, she writes, echoing Apple's morning advice. It's almost as if adults talk to each other. The boutique site posts again, third exclusive in as many days. Mara at Harbor Heart DMs Tess a one-line don't touch it. Publish process. We push a 1- pager on our site titled Snow Union, and the schedule the SDS AQM'd each ecklist SAG-SAY FT or A minor rules synopsis. Local 399 policy, Philmel A gratitude line, 3 photos of vacuum mats and nothing else. It trends in the world that pays invoices on time. We're apt with the quiet dignity of compliance. Teamsters board. SAG-A FT or RA happy. Philmel A thanked. AQM decline. Dolby confirms our mixed window stretch if editorial asks nicely. Panavision keeps our lens hold alive because we ask like adults and return favors in daylight. I add 3 lines to tomorrow's call sheet where only 3 people will read them. No meeting that costs a setup. Finish days. Spines, not scraps. If it can't survive paperwork, it can't be in the film. Before I kill the lights, the phone rings from a number that never overpraises. Your 20 has a back, she says. Don't chase extra. Protect what's already breathing. Copy, I say. And stop answering ghost letters with energy, she adds. Answer them with pages. We did, I say. We will. Outside, Los Angeles does what good cities do, forces you to earn your now. Tomorrow we'll shoot quiet interiors that sell courage louder than snow. Netflix will want the 20. Apple will want Windows. A24 will want tone. Philmel A will want courtesy. SAG-A FT array will want a child home on time. Teamsters will want boredom. AQMD will want mats. Dolby will want a list. The boutique site will want a new adjective. I want one thing that wins all of that, a cut that doesn't lie. We'll get it the same way we got today. Union math, real snow, receipts. By 6:30. The calendar decides what kind of day we're allowed to have. Forecast says rain after 18's Erith. The studio teacher highlights the boys' blocks in neon. LAPD off minus duty reminds us the neighborhood event steals our lanes at 20's Erith and legally mails a subject line that always tries to be important to ex parte or attempt 10 o'clock. And, Stanley Mosk. 8 temporary restraining order before coffee would end a lesser film. We don't flinch. We root. Tessus puts the morning editor, and I finish the 20 that behaves like 20. Our attorney walks into court with the stack we've been building for weeks. WGA, registrations, copyright filings, chain minus of minus idle memo, clearance logs, prop design packets, a comparative grid labeled classic lane protected element, plus a declaration that reads like a stopwatch we will lose irreplaceable time. I do not go. I finish. The cut room is a converted dining room with a door that closes and a clock you can hear. We lay scenes in order, no temp score, no hero fonts, no favors. The doorway decision still holds. The brothers, scene we found yesterday, earns it. The first trap plays like cause minus and minus effect instead of internet nostalgia. The editor kills my last vanity insert and gives me a spine that breathes like a house with opinions. It's 20 minus to that feels like 20. She trims air I didn't know I was hoarding. It becomes 20 flat. What you see on 3 screens and a pair of headphones teachers would approve. At 9:48 a.m. Legal's text arrives, mid-minus export judged in eyes T a row. No likelihood of success. Note your paperwork is adult. They may file, they will not stop your day. Do not gloat. We do not gloat. We finished the master and upload to frame. IO with permissions that would survive subpoenas. Tessa pings Netflix 20 behaves like 20. Link inside. The scout replies past curiosity. Gathering the room. Rain advances its ETA, so we invert the strip board. Interiors first, the kitchen hinge where mom and the boy speak truth without speeches. We block gently because the scene is glass. The teacher, the SAG minus a FTRA rep, and mom read the plan and see what I see we can make the day if we don't lie to ourselves about how ready we are. CRA's junior slides a digital, not our supporting neighbors deal memo is clean, single minus card billing, approvals that won't eat daylight, Friday start at 11 o'clock. With a rap clause that penalizes us if we blow his turnaround. That's how adults borrow mornings. A24S junior lands at 8 o'clock. For coffee that doesn't cost a setup. Don't define tone in rooms, she says. Define it in cuts. We show her the still of the threshold. She smiles like a person who has had to sell silence before. Finish, she says, and leaves with no selfie and no calendar hold. I like her. On set, the rain counter programs the sound department. We kill a roof unit, line mats, sandbag stands, runs off his gaze further from glass. The gaffer asks, do we let the weather speak? We do within limits the mixer can love. We are proving we can shoot in a hurricane. We're proving we can tell the truth when the sky contributes. We rehearse mom's half-minus beige confession with the boy across the island. His eyes do more than her lines, her breath does more than her backstory. I cut 2 adjectives, fold 1 sentence into an action. She fills a mug she doesn't drink. We shoot the 2 minus shot to earn behavior, then her single for backbone, then his for the moment a child becomes the adult the scene needs. Take 3 is honest. Take 4 is performance. We choose 3 because this isn't a demo reel. Netflix calls where we're swapping cards. Not email. Co. The kind where more than one voice breathes. We watch twice, the scout says. A second voice, the exec who never overpraises, adds, it finishes sentences most people are too tired to write. The third asks, the only question I'll answer today, can you deliver 40 by next Friday without bleeding your day? We can, I say, if 40 behaves like 40, not 20 with padding. Good answer, the exec says. Own and finish. We'll talk when your 40 is undeniable. Apple TV follows by email with math, not adjectives hold ownership. If Festival X completion metrics, why, we pencil short theatrical qualifier and first window. No balloon promises. Bring receipts. Tessa replies with a date the 40 lands and a request for their deliverable spec so our pipeline stops guessing. They send Atmos, 5.1 half-point euro pro raise for 1,444 color space notes, captions and audio description requirements. We add ER to the deliverable checklist because adults remember registries. WME rings to sell a name that can buy headlines and eat days. We're not allergic to stars, I say. We're allergic to overtime. The agent laughs. Notes after picture, I answer. We hang up still professional. Phil Mel A pings about yesterday's 311 complaint. Tessa attaches time, minus stamped photos, generator on pad, lane control within permit, neighbor hotline posted and Fanta municipal lawyer can read. Thank you for being specific, the liaison replies. The hotline stays quiet because our receipts move faster than rumor. Union math knocks exactly what it should. Teamsters 399 flags a rumor. A day player tried to bring in on minus union friend as a courtesy swing. The captain tells me before it becomes a grievance. We don't cross our own lines. Nor do we, I say, and send the friend home with a check and a speech about standards that isn't charming and doesn't need to be. We call dispatch and fill the slot with a worker who knows how to coil cable and read contracts. Boredom returns. The boutique site posts a victory lap about the denied TRO as if it were theirs. Mar at Harbor Heart text, a single sentence, don't feed it. Publish process. We push a 1- page update titled Why the Kitchen Scene Works Without Anyone's Nostalgia, a WGA registration, 8 copyright case numbers, revised blue pages logged, no protected catchphrases, no trade dress clearance snapshots, no names. It trends in a corner of the internet where studio lawyers and film professors live. That's the only corner I want this week. The rain lands earlier than forecast. We pivot to the foyer beat where the boy hears something off minus screen and decides to be architecture instead of passenger. The DP asks for 1 minute at 48 FPS. One take, I say. If it feels like a trick, it dies in the bin. We shoot it once for our curiosity and once for the cut. The regular minus speed take wins. Curiosity gets its dignity, the edit gets its honesty. At 2:40 p.m., the studio teacher points at the clock. Tutoring block. We break on time. During study, we steal inserts pre-minus, cleared with the SAG, minus say, FT or A rep hands, hinge, a mug on a counter that says more than a monologue. The safety coordinator repeats the line that keeps this set alive. If it can't be done safely at full speed twice, it's not in the film. You can. We move. See, emails. A courtesy heads minus up a blogger with a law degree is drafting a think piece about spiritual adjacency. Legal drafts are evergreen reply in case someone rings us on the record. We built an original film in a classic lane. We celebrate influence without copying protected expression. We obey the law. We finish films. We prefer not to use it. We prefer to send 40. The neighbor with the decibel meter knocks with a towel in his hand. He offers to dry the porch rail between because he has decided we're not the enemy. I pay him back with a direct number and a promise we can enforce. We fix it if we're wrong. He pockets the meter and stays to watch the hinge scene, once more like a grandparent turning a credits that don't exist. By late afternoon, the editor has our new material ingested. We add the kitchen hinge to the 20 and discover it is the 20. The evening exterior the forecast is trying to steal can move to tomorrow. The film doesn't collapse if the street doesn't cooperate. Schedule is the script, so we stop pretending we're in charge of clouds. Then a test we didn't plan frame. IO forwards a second DMCA from the boutique site's law firm, this time keyed to our EO carrier and a platform we might want later. Tessa routes it to legal files that counter minus notice with more dates than adjectives and CCs. The court clerk who just heard the TRO attempt. A broker replies with 6 words that earn their premium coverage, remains unimpressed by rumor. We go back to work. Sunset opens a window we didn't expect. The rain stops. The street sheen reads like production value we couldn't have afforded. LAPD shows us the watch face lanes must be clear at 8 o'clock p. No brace. We can steal 1 to minus shot. If we finish resetting by 1940th, we do. The boy crosses, listens, decides. The camera behaves like it respects curfews. We strike in time. The officers smile like men who want to be bored again tomorrow. Back at base, Dolby confirms our pipeline with a sentence that comes post yes to 20 for FPS rule, not 23.98 yes to Atmos objects if you earn them, no to HI, DPI graphics, weirdness, and credits. The Color House reserves a slot next Tuesday for a look session if our schedule respects theirs. We add test pattern discipline to the deliverables page because people forget until a theater embarrasses them. Netflix calls again at 2050th. The room's aligned, the exec says. 40 by next Friday in a plan for completing principle without feeding headlines you don't own. Plan is the same plan, I say. No meetings that cost setups. We publish process when rumor asks for attention. We finish days. You're speaking our language, she says. One more thing, don't chase extra. Protect what's breathing. We close with paperwork because that's how adults sleep. The production accountant posts a cost report that matched the budget, not the fantasy. SAG, minus A, FT or A signs the time card without notes. Teamsters log turnarounds that will make tomorrow's morning civil. Phil Melly thanks us for photographs that preempt complaints. AQMD didn't need to visit because our runoff log spoke for itself. Panavision holds the glass because we return favors in daylight. Apple sends their deliverables checklist. A24 sends nothing, which is their way of saying we're still interesting. On tomorrow's call sheet, in the space only 3 people read, I add 4 lines. 40 must behave like 40. No meeting that costs a setup. If it can't survive paperwork, it can't be in the film. Own and finish. Not or and. Before I kill the lights, I write one more note on a post minus. If I stick to the editor's monitor, don't let me add noise to prove we have music. She won't. That's why I hired her. Outside, the city dries itself on a schedule only it understands. Tomorrow we shoot quiet and call it courage. Netflix will want 40. Apple will want Windows. A24 will keep their coffee early. Phil Melee will want courtesy. SAG-AFTRA will want the boy home on time. Teamsters will want boredom. Dobie will want discipline. The boutique site will want adjectives. The film wants one thing a hinge that holds. We gave it one today. We'll give it another tomorrow. By 7th Anna. And the cut is uploaded, checksums logged, permissions set to names that will survive subpoenas. Subject line reads Snowbound Kid 8 o'clock P. That behaves like 20s Earth. Tessa sends it to Netflix with a 1- sentence cover, no temp, no padding, no promises we can't keep. The reply ends before coffee finishes, pretending it helps. Room, book 10/30th. If this plays twice, we'll talk 40 by next Friday. Good. We didn't build 22, we built it to justify 40. On our wall, for lines stare back where only 3 people read them, 40 must behave like 40. No meeting that costs a setup. If it can't survive paperwork, it can't be in the film. Own and finish. Not or, and. The studio teacher arrives with neon highlighter and a tone I respect. LAUS the work permit renewal date was misminuscled in the district system. They think it expires tomorrow. That ends movies. We don't let it. Tessa calls the district. I call our attorney. The teacher prints the last 30 days of tutoring logs. The SAG-AFTRA rep scans the time cards, and we all meet at the mobile office like adults who understand clocks. 10 minutes later, the district clerk is on speaker confirming the system error and emailing the corrected permit with an apology no one needs. We add the PDF to the binder that gives me oxygen. At 9:05. A20 for S Jr. shows up for a coffee that does not cost a setup. We saw the still, she says. Don't let anyone talk you into selling the threshold with a line. Sell it with breath. Agreed. She leaves with no selfie and 2 words that double as a budget finish first. Netflix calls at 10:47. We watched twice, the scout says. There's a second voice, the exec who doesn't overpraise. Unit 10 scaffolding is structure, she says. 40 by next Friday. No temps core, no montage cheated. Deliver a spine, not a sizzle. We'll deliver a spine, I say. And don't add noise to prove you have music, she adds. Already on the wall, I say. We invert the day when the weather reminds us who owns the sky. The rain that was supposed to arrive after dinner arrives before lunch. Interiors first. The kitchen hinge we found yesterday needs a companion mom alone, realizing she cannot out or scourge. Half a page, 3 props, a silence. Lighting is restraint. The gaffer suggests 1 practical and a bounce that respects faces. The DPS for 2 frames at 48 FPS for curiosity. 1 take, I say. Curiosity gets its minute, the cut gets honesty. We shoot both. Regular speed wins because this scene isn't a demo reel. Legal dials enduring lens change. Boutique site, filed a second DM. Set I against your private link, CCing our carrier and a streamer you might want later, she says. We file counter with dates, chain of title, deposit receipts. Court denied their tier. Yesterday today's posture reads like content calendar, not law. Do not react. Publish process if you must. We'll publish process, Tessa says, already queuing a 1- pager how we clear what we invent. Dialogue, lists, prop logs, design packets. Why a generic cereal box is the most romantic thing in a courtroom. CIA confirms Friday single- card supporting neighbor. WME tries to sell a name that buys headlines and eats days. We're not allergic to stars, I tell the agent. We're allergic to overtime. He laughs because we both need each other eventually and we both know the word after notes, after picture. At noon, a call from our composer prospect. No ego about temp, a folder full of themes written on piano that could carry without begging for attention. I score moments, not tweets, she says. That's the job. We draft a start services agreement with work minus for minus higher language, session scale, cartage, orchestrator credit, contractor line, and a clause we never forget deliver stems and session files in perpetuity. She asks for 2 weeks to produce a suite once she sees 40. Fair. We add musician union payroll to the schedule so money can behave when art arrives. While the kid studies, we steal insert spree minus cleared by the rep hands on hinge, mug left and touched, walk sliding home. The safety coordinator signs his favorite sentence twice repeatable at full speed. That sentence belongs in the credits more than my name. Buy to 20p. A different grown minus up test South Coast AQMD inspector returns because an anonymous complaint says our snow drifted into the neighbor's yard and looked chemical. We walk her to the cellulars, show the SDS, the runoff mats, the vacuum log, the yard we broomed ourselves at 21/50th. She signs the page and says the quiet compliment, thank you for knowing the rules before I arrive. That's Los Angeles for see you on the next one. The neighbor with the decibel meter knocks to ask whether our snow will kill succulents and whether he can take a photo with his grandson by the porch after ramp. We say yes to both and give him the same number we give Netflix. People protect what they can reach. At 3:15 p. The color housey mails we can give you a look session Tuesday if your pipeline obeys test patterns. No LUT magic we can tray minus create. We confirm Rex 709 mastering HD or path later SD or first. We add EID, our request to the deliverables doc, so we stop pretending that ID happens by osmosis. A streaming exec where respect offers a notes call on the 20. We'll take notes after 40, I say. Anything before that cost is setup. Silence. Then respect. People usually get mad only if you're vague. We stage the day's hinge that sells 40 the false alarm. The kid believes danger, the audience believes the kid. We prove the ethics of traps by not injuring anyone who doesn't deserve a lesson. It looks like a comedy beat and behaves like law. The coordinator runs the redundancies. We set practicals for honesty, not glamour. 2 takes. The second takes the oxygen out of my chest and puts it where it belongs in the boy's hands. At 5 o'clock p. and Netflix sends a bullet list that reads like a respect letter. What worked? The threshold, the kitchen hinge, the absence of nostalgia melodrama. What we need in 40, the brother scene that earns the threshold, the first trap that reads his ethics, not praying to Gerowantage, Zabo borrowed music, an adult who changes because the kid refuses to. Tess, the pins it to the wall. Those bullets are the reason 40 exists. Union math, taps my shoulder again. Teamsters 399 heard a rumor a specialty vendor will try to send an on- cover driver after hours. We call dispatch before the rumor matures. Send me a cover driver at 7 o'clock p. I say, for minus, our minimum paid even if we beat it. Turnaround protected. The captain says yes. Boredom returns. That's victory. Apple TV confirms their deliverables. Sheet Atmos 5.1 half points RO. ProRes 4444. Captions and audio description spec. Color space notes. QC checklist. We fold it into our pipeline before we fall in love with bad habits. All own and finish. Their email ends. That phrase feels like a check we can cash. At 6:20 p. The rain stops like a favor. LAPD shows us a watch lanes must clear at 20's earth. We can steal it to minus shot on the porch if everyone behaves. Everyone behaves. The boy crosses the decision, slams all the doors we don't want open. We strike in time. The officers nod the way professionals nod when your paperwork loves them back. Back at base, we assemble 20-6. No temp, no swell. The editor lifts one breath, kills one insert, and makes it 20- for that feels like 20-1. Don't chase minutes, she says. Chase truth. I write it on the wall because walls don't forget. The boutique site publishes a think piece titled Spiritual Adjacency and the Death of Originality, tweeted by people who read headlines for sport. Mara at Harbor Heart texts, 1 line hold. Publish process. We push a page titled Where Our Story Stops Short of Anyone Else's, comparative grid, no brands, no gloating, just the receipts that make the next court day boring. It trends in the corner where studio lawyers and film teachers talk to each other. That corner buys me sleep. CIA males are supporting neighbors long minus from we're headline nothing but commas in a clause that protected us from our own incompetence. We pay liquidated damages if we blow his day. Adults owe adults money when they waste mornings. At 8:40 p. Netflix writes the room is past curiosity. 40 by Friday. Copy, I reply. 40 that behaves like 40. No filler. No montage. No borrowed music. Protect your schedule, they add. No meetings that cost setups. We're already living that sentence. The production accountant posts the cost report the day cost. What the budget said it should snow vendor paid without surcharge extra driver. Cost went to boredom, not crisis. Phil Mill A logs zero hotline calls. AQMD logs compliance with photos. SAG-A FT signs the time card without ink. Teamsters log turnarounds that make tomorrow civilized. Dolby confirms color pipeline. Panavision gives us a courtesy check minus and we're holding the 50 you like. Ask correctly, you keep earning this. We ask correctly. Before I kill the lights, I write for lines on tomorrow's call sheet for the 3 of us who read them. 40 is structure, not scaffolding. Don't add noise to prove there's music. If it can't survive paperwork, it can't be in the film. No meeting that costs a setup. On my own post minus it, a 5th notes after picture. It keeps phones honest. Outside, the city dries on its own schedule. Tomorrow we'll shoot the scene that convinces adults this isn't nostalgia the moment a parent admits fear and a child doesn't weaponize EE. Netflix will want pages, Apple will want math, A24 will stay early and precise, Philmel A will want courtesy, SAG minus. Say FT or A will want the boy home on time, Teamsters will want board to make you MD will want Matt Dolby will want discipline, the boutique site will want adjectives. We'll give the only thing that collapses all that into yes 40 that breathes like truth. By 6:55. The wall has one new line where only 3 people will read it. 40 is structure, not scaffolding. The rest is already there. No meetings that cost a setup. If it can't survive paperwork, it can't be in the film moan and finish. The editor and I lock the door on a converted dining room built of 40 Netflix asked for. No temps core, no montage cheating. We promote the beats that earn their place, the threshold, the kitchen hinge, the brother scene, the first trap that behaves like ethics, not prank. I ask for one comfort cut to flatter my taste. She deletes it and points at the clock. 40 breathes when we stop flattering ourselves. At 8:12 up. Tessa flags a new adult test, insurance payroll variance. A-time card rounding error would push us into meal penalties for a minor if we're lazy. We're not. She pulls set reports, the studio teacher's logs, and the SAG-AFT are A-rep's initials, then walks it through production payroll. The variance dies where it should in arithmetic, not in arbitration. The sound mixer slides me a memo noise. Floor plan for the quietest scenes, keel rooftop units, soft socks on crew, carpets on wood, turn off the fridge in base camp with a plug minus back timer so we don't invent hum for post. Quiet is a budget line, we pay it in behavior. Legal calls with the morning's posture. Opposite counsel is now threatening brand dilution. Aunt Witter, our attorney, says, I'm sending the same thing I always send: dates, filings, logs, design packets, and the sentence I hope gets engraved on their stationery. Thank you for the opportunity to be specific. You will not tweet. I will cut, I say. Correct, she says. That's the weapon. By 9:40. We have 30-7 that behaves like 30-7. 3 minutes remain unearned. We try to fill them and the cut gasps. The editor takes the air back. 30-8 and change plays like 40. She nods once, the way grown minus up snot. We you see on 3 screens and headphones a teacher would approve. Checksum's log. The export title is boring on purpose, snowbound kids RO 38 tam 12 no 10. CIA's junior arrives with Friday's call sheet requests for our supporting neighbor, single minus card billing confirmed. Photo approvals limited to unit stills we publish, no vanity angles to bleed daylight. We countersign the clause that fines us if we blow his turnaround. That's not bravery, that's adulthood. Apple TV sends a clean deliverable sheet. Atmos 5.1.0 co-raise for 1,444. Captions and audio description specs, EIDR color space notes. We fold it into the pipeline before taste tries to outrun discipline. The Color House locks Tuesday for a look session if our test patterns behave. The Dolby team replies with a sentence that makes supposed sleep yes to true 24, not 23.98, yes to Atmos objects you are no to fuzzy end credits. At 11:05. A 24S junior returns for coffee that doesn't cost a cent. Do not let anyone talk you into narration to glue fear, she says. Burn fear with cause minus and minus effect. We show her a silent still of the boy's hand not touching a mug. She smiles like a person who's had to sell restraint. We shoot interiors like we mean to pass a hearing. The gaffer maps, practicals, and bounds to respect faces. The mixer gets his noise floor. The DP keeps the lens honest. The studio teacher points at the clock. We break for tutoring on time without pretending we deserve a medal. The SAG-AFT are A-rep initials the log because we treat the rules like architecture, not suggestions. Netflix bings at 12:50th. Room booked for 15's Erith. If it plays twice, expect paperwork conversations. We don't print champagne, we print the call sheet. While the kid studies, we steal insert spree minus cleared with the rep hinge latch hands. The safety coordinator initials his sentence twice repeatable at full speed. The prop master files photos in clearance, no brand names, no trade dress, no protected catchphrases hiding on a cereal box. The art team swaps a label that looked clever out of context. Clevered eyes so legal can live. South Pros take you MD inspector drops by unannounced to verifier on off mounts after seeing a post from someone who likes adjectives. We show SDS mats, vacuum log, and a photo of me pushing a broom at 21:52. She signs and leaves with the compliment bureaucrats use to hide affection. Thank you for knowing the rules before I arrive. At 2:40p. Tessa forwards a DMC, I repeat, same boutique site, same firm, new recipients and CC. Legal files counter with receipts, and copies the clerk who denied their TRO, our IO broker, and frame. By you. The broker replies with their favorite sentence, coverage remains unimpressed by rumor. We go back to work because that is what closes stories. The composer candidate calls between setups. It be minus covered, no temp dependence, and a piano folder full of themes that don't big. I write for breath, she says, not for trailers. We draft her deal work minus, for minus hire, contractor line, orchestrator credit, session scale cartridge, deliver stems and sessions in perpetuity, in a clause that protects us from calendar fantasy suite after 40, not before. LAPD's off minus duty team warns about tonight's neighborhood event. Lanes must clear by 8 o'clock p. The 80 flips the strip board in 7 minutes. Third minus act porch beat now, interiors after tutoring. The crew reads it once and behaves like they saw it yesterday. Schedule is the script. At 3:03p. Netflix calls from a room that breathes. We watch twice, the exec says. Your 40 doesn't pretend scaffolding is structure. Another voice adds, we'll send a letter by OD outlining what happens if you land the cut by X and keep ownership. No temp, no montage, no borrowed music, and no press you don't control. We'll deliver that 40, I say. Protect your schedule, the scout adds. No meetings that cost setups. We already live there. We're in the false alarm sequence that sells the ethics of our traps. 2 takes both clean, both legal. The boy believes danger, the audience believes the boy, no one gets hurt. The coordinator signs the redundancy sheet, and our editor marks it with a smile she rarely spends earned. Philmel A pings a courtesy a neighbor complimented our hotline. We send a thank you. That note goes on a bulletin board where production assistants keep reminders of why kindness is faster than apologies. At 5:30 p.m., Apple TV sends math with oxygen if festival X completion Y and you keep ownership. We're prepared to paper first window with a short theatrical qualifier LAANY1 flyover. They attach a draft grid that respects our pipeline and doesn't try to own our day. We don't celebrate. We add deliverable IDs to the dock and keep cutting. By 10 p. The porch dries the way production budgets can't buy. LAPD flashes a watch lanes clear at 20th. We set 1 practical upstairs so the house feels awake, then run the 2- shot that sells the poster to parents who never buy posters. The boy listens, decides, and closes it, or the cut doesn't need to explain. We strike on time. The officers nod like rhythm sections. Back at base, the 40 breathes on 3 screens. No tint, no swell, no flattery. The editor lifts 1 breath and kills 1 insert and makes it 40 that feels like 40. We check some, we log, we title the export with the same boring truth, and we send it to a list that would survive subpoenas. Netflix's letter arrives before we finish labeling. If you deliver a locked cut by date, remain owner of copyright, and maintain current creative posture, no temp, no montage fillers. We intend to proceed to an exclusive license conversation post-festival, no balloons, no slogans, paper that respects the day. CAA's long form for our supporting neighbor comes back with commas where commas belong. We sign. WNE sends a 1- liner that would cost us 2 days. We reply with the 1 line that ends arguments without enemies notes after picture. UT's Broadway kid officially joins for 2 days, both crafted around school and rest, with blue pages logged for WGI and signatures where authorship sleeps. The boutique site posts another think piece about spiritual adjacency. Mara at Harborheart sends our reflex publish process. We push a page called 40 without nostalgia, the list of what we didn't do, no trade dress, no catchphrases, no brand name traps, what we did cause and effect, ethics over prank, safety redundancies, and why the boring parts win subpoenas. It trends in the corner of the internet where studio lawyers and film teachers live. That corner pays our bills. Teamsters 399 logs turnarounds that make tomorrow civil. The production accountant posts a cost report that matches the budget, not a fairy tale. Philmel A logs Juro hotline drama. AQMD logs run off with photos. Dolby confirms Tuesday's look session. The Color House asks for 3 specific test charts so they don't guess our intent. Panavision checks that we still like the 50 we do. On tomorrow's call sheet, in the space only 3 people read, I have 5 lines. 40 must survive silence. No meeting that costs a setup. If it can't survive paperwork, it can't be in the film. Own and finish. Not or, and notes after picture. Before I kill the lights, I walk the warehouse and think about what adults so story laws obeyed, unions respected, neighbors thanked, children home on time, receipts ready before microphones get nosy. Netflix will want the Lock 40, Apple will want window math. 824 will keep liking our breath. Philmel A will want courtesy SAG -say FT. RA will want the boy home on time. Teamsters will want board to make you MD will want Matt's Dolby will want discipline. The boutique site will want adjectives. We'll give the only thing that collapses all that into yes, a 40 that doesn't lie, built with rules that don't blink. By 6:40. The export sits on 3 drives in 1 cloud with checksums and boring filler names that would survive subpoenas. Snowbound kids, Euro 40 AMs, RO no temp. The wall keeps its rules where only 3 people read them. 40 must survive silence. No meeting that costs the setup. If it can't survive paperwork, it can't be in the film. Oh, and finish. Notes after picture. Netflix's letter arrives before Coffee admits its job. If you hold ownership and deliver a locked 40 by date, we intend to proceed to an exclusive license conversation post-festival, contingent on completion plan and no deviation from no temp, no montage, no borrowed music, no slogans. Taper. Block is a verb, the editor says, handing me a list. 3 trims, 2 breath lifts, 1 cut that hurts my pride and saves our film. We do them. 40 stays 40. It breathes. We check some again because future courts love arithmetic. The studio teacher flags an audit district wants a surprise spot check on tutoring logs. SAG-AFT. RA wants to confirm the boys' turnaround math matches set reports. Tessa lays out the binder time cards, study blocks, initials, call sheets. The auditor smiles the way professionals smile when paperwork loves them back. You make my job dull, she says. That's a compliment. Legal calls with posture I can use. Opposite counsel floated brand dilution on social, our attorney says. We file the same thing we always file: dates, filings, design packets, clearance logs, and the sentence that belongs on their wall. Thank you for the opportunity to be specific. Today's rumor is not law. Do not react. Finish. I will cut, I say. Correct, she says. That's the only escalation we like. At 8:30. The composer sends a 3- minutes we written on piano. No swelling, no apology. A theme that can hold a child's decision without begging for applause. At end, paperwork is quaid session scale cartridge, orchestrator credit, contractor line, stems, and session files delivered in perpetuity. We schedule a first sit minus down after we lock 40. Process before perfume. A 24S junior drops by for a coffee that doesn't cost a setup. If anyone suggests VO to glue fear, say no twice, she says. Earn fear with cause minus and minus effect. We show her a still and hovering over a mug it never touches. She smiles like someone who has had to sell silence. We stage the adult changes scene, mom alone in the kitchen at dawn, admitting to herself, not the audience, that she can't out her scourge. Half a page, 3 props, no speeches. The gaffer maps practicals and bounds to respect faces. The mixer gets his noise floor, the DP chooses the lens we earned. Take 2 is a performance. Take 3 is human. We keep human. Netflix pings at 10:10. Room booked 13's Erith. If 40 plays twice, legal will call you at 17's Erith. We do not celebrate. We protect the day. Union math knocks on schedule. Teamsters local 399 flags a rumor from a vendor about sending in on minus cover driver for a late ad. We call dispatch first. Cover driver at 19's Erith. For minus our minimum even if we beat it. Turn around protected. The captain says yes. Boredom returns. That's victory. South Coast take UMD inspector drops by unannounced because someone with adjectives posted a photo of snow near a drain. We show SDS, runoff mats, vacuum log, photos from 9:50 to P. Of a broom in my hand. She signs and says the city's version of affection, thank you for knowing the rules before I arrive. The neighbor asks if his grandson can take a photo on the porch after rap. Yes, people protect what they can reach. Lunch is 30 by the book. While the boy studies, we steal inserts pre-minus, cleared with the SAG minus, say FT or REP hinge latch, a key that doesn't turn because the story doesn't want shortcuts. The safety coordinator initials his favorite sentence twice repeatable at full speed. I like signatures that outlive credit sequences. At 1 o'clock P. Netflix calls from a room that breathes. We watch twice, the exec says. A second voice adds, you kept scaffolding out of the structure. The scout finishes it, if you hold ownership and deliver the rest on schedule, we're prepared to talk paper after festival placement. No temp, no montage, no borrowed music, and no press you don't control. Copy, I say. We'll deliver what we promised. Protect your schedule, she says. No meeting, that steals a setup. We already live there. Apple TV replies with math, not poetry, a festival X completion Y. And you keep ownership, we're ready to pencil a short theatrical qualifier LAN, Y1 flyover followed by first window. Deliverable spec attached. At most 5.1 half-point euro, call raise for 1,444, captions and audio description, IIDR, color space notes. We fold it into the pipeline before habit can pretend it's law. The color house confirms Tuesday's look session and asks for charts we often forget when we're excited. We print them and tape a note to the camera team, no LUT magic, we can tray minus create. Dolby emails the line that makes post breathe, yes to True 24, yes to Atmos objects if you earn them, no to fuzzy and credits. WME rings with a name we all know and time we can't afford. He'll give you press and pain, the agent says. We don't buy pain, I say. Notes after picture. Silence, then respect. We'll talk later when later is cheap. We shoot the false alarm sequence that sells the ethics of our traps. The boy believes danger, the audience believes the boy, no one gets hurt. 2 takes. Both legal. Both clean. The coordinator signs redundancies like a notary public for physics. Frame. IO forwards another DMCA from the boutique site's law firm, now with 3 streamers in CC. Tessa routes it 2 legal files counter with receipts and copies the clerk who denied their TRO plus our EO broker. The broker replies with 6 words that earn their premium coverage, remains unimpressed by rumor. We go back to work. At 5:05 p.m., Netflix legal calls. Paper, not confetti, term sheet, contingent on locked picture. By date, ownership retained, festival birth, no deviation from creative posture and media discipline. We agree to send our production calendar, deliverable checklist, and union compliance letters. They agree to keep the conversation where it belongs on paper, not in press. Phil Mel A pings about a 311 inquiry that reads like curiosity, not complaint. We attach photos generator on pads, lane control within permit, neighbor hotline posted, AQMD sign minus off. Thank you for being specific, the liaison writes. The hotline stays quiet. Receipts move faster than rumor. At 6:30 p. The porch dries itself. LAPD shows a watch face lanes must clear at 20's earth. We can steal a T- shot if everyone behaves. Everyone behaves. The boy listens, decides, and the camera respects the curfew. We strike in time. The officers nod like rhythm sections. Back at base, we watch 40 again on 3 screens and 1 pair of headphones with no agenda but truth. The editor kills a pride insert I had smuggled back in. 40 survives silence. It survives a teacher's headphones. It survives a lawyer's calendar. We check some and label the export like adults. A Sundance programmer's assistant emails a line that knows its weight. If you have a private 40, we'll look. No promises. We send nothing today. We finish the week. Notes after picture doesn't only mean executives. Mara at Harbor Heart texts the reflex when the boutique site publishes another think piece about spiritual adjacency hold. Publish process. We push a 1- pager called 40 without nostalgia. What we didn't do: no trade dress, no catchphrases, no brand -name traps. What we did cause minus and minus effect, ethics, safety, why boring parts win subpoenas. It trends where studio lawyers and film teachers live. That corner pays our bills and buys us peace. CIA delivers the long minus form for our supporting neighbor. We're headline commas and sign the clause that fines us if we blow his day. Adults pay adults when they waste mornings. UTA closes the Broadway Kid for 2 days, both built around school and rest, with blue pages logged for WGA credit hygiene. The studio teacher signs the SAG Mina, ZFTRA rep initials, and the calendar reads like a promise I intend to keep. The production accountant posts a cost report that matches the budget, not a fairy tale. Teamsters log turnarounds that will make tomorrow civilized. Filmel E-logs a quiet hotline. AQMD logs run off photos. Dolby confirms Tuesday. Panavision checks on the 50 we like and reminds us they remember who asked correctly at midnight and who didn't. On tomorrow's call sheet, in the space only 3 people read, I had 5 lines. Lock is a verb. Do it. No meeting that costs a setup. If it can't survive paperwork, it can't be in the film. Own and finish. Not or and. 40 must survive silence. Before I kill the lights, I take the neighbor's grandson's photo on the porch the way we promised. He doesn't care about Netflix or AQMD or He cares that the house looked like a story and the boy looked brave. That's the only test with a half- life longer than headlines. Tomorrow we shoot the adult scene most films fake: a parent admitting fear and a child not weaponizing it. Netflix will want calendars, Apple will want numbers, A24 will keep loving breath, Film LA will want courtesy, SAG -AFT, RA will want the boy home, On Time Teamsters will want board, and AQMD will want Matt Stolby, will want discipline, the boutique site will want adjectives. We'll give the one thing that collapses all of that into yes, a lock 40 that doesn't lie, built by people who keep promises on paper and on set.